When you think of Tanjung, chances are Nissan comes to mind first, and that's no surprise. They've had a long-standing partnership. Apart from that, Tanjung also handles other brands as well. And in recent years, with the rise of Chinese automakers entering the Malaysian market, Tanjung hasn't been just watching from the sidelines. Instead, they've been busy in bringing in the GAC brand. In Malaysia, GAC offers two main lineups. First, the internal combustion models like the GAC GS3, and then there's the electric vehicle lineup under the AION sub-brand. Currently, AION has two models available locally, but in this video, I'm focusing in on the GAC AION Y Plus, one of their earliest launches here. I'll be exploring what sets it apart in the increasingly competitive EV market, and is it worth taking a closer look? With that, welcome back to Carsick.my for another review video. Here's a quick introduction to the GAC AION Y Plus, a 5-seater MPV that brings to mind a familiar face from the past, the Hyundai Matrix. That compact MPV had its moment in Malaysia, and the AION Y Plus seems to echo that practical spirit. But let's start with the design. The AION Y Plus has a funky, almost futuristic look. Personally, it's not quite up to my taste, but it's clear that GAC had a purpose here, maximizing interior space. At the front, it carries a clean, functional appearance that fits the MPV profile. And since it's an EV with no engine under the hood, GAC could shorten the front end. That means better maneuverability in tight spaces, a big win for city driving. You'll also notice no fake grille here, just a distinctive flat front end. And really, why fake it? EVs don't need grilles in the first place. When it comes to styling, GAC has clearly put some extra thought into the headlights. They've gone beyond basic functionality and added some design that make it stand out. Shaped like angel wings, these headlights give the front end a unique look. Now, I'll admit, this design is not quite up to my taste as well, but I can see how it might appeal to those who like a more dramatic flair. What's also striking is just how large these headlights are. They stretch deep into the front bumper, dominating the front fascia. And here's something to think about. In a low-speed fender bender, the headlights might actually take the brunt of the impact rather than the bumper itself. That could mean more costly repairs if the headlights are damaged. Moving to the side, the AION Y Plus gets a touch of style with its grey plastic cladding. It's a subtle detail, but it adds some much-needed character to the otherwise flat and simple side panels. At the rear, things take a turn for the futuristic, or at least video game inspired. The AION Y Plus has a look that wouldn't feel out of place in GTA. A slim taillight bar stretches across the back, giving it a modern, high-tech vibe. But beyond that light strip, the rest of the rear is pretty flat and basic, not exactly a showstopper when viewed from behind. The AION Y Plus rides on a set of 18-inch rims. That might sound decent in size, but against the car's large body, they look a bit undersized. Wrapped in relatively narrow 215/50 R18 tires, the wheels don't quite match the vehicle's proportions. Step inside the AION Y Plus and you're greeted by a bright, cheerful interior, something that stands out in a market where many interiors are in black color. Chinese car brands often use bold color choices to add personality, and the AION Y Plus is no exception. This particular model features a grey and pink interior theme that echoes the exterior design. Now, I'll be honest, Grey works for me, but I'm not really sold on the pink highlights. Thankfully, they are subtle enough not to overwhelm the cabin. The dashboard is basically what you find in most China cars, with two displays, a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster and a 40.6-inch infotainment screen. In a move towards minimalism, AION removed all physical buttons. Even the headlight controls are now tucked away in the infotainment menu. And to be honest, that's not exactly convenient when you're on the go. Looking at the instrument cluster, it's actually massive, but despite its size, there's quite a bit of wasted space. GAC had the chance to pack in more useful info, but instead, they went for a super minimal look. Now, while I do appreciate simplicity, this might be too simple for my liking. Right next to it, the large infotainment screen adds a layer of complexity. It's clean in appearance, but GAC packed almost every function into this one screen, which makes adjusting settings kind of a hassle. Then again, this is quite similar to the other China brands out there. That said, the display is clear and high definition. You'll find Apple CarPlay here, but unfortunately, Android Auto didn't make the cut. One great feature though is the 360-degree camera. It's a huge help when parking. And finally, the sound system is alright. Nothing special, but it gets the job done. Slide into the driver's seat and you are immediately greeted with a commanding view of the road ahead. It's that elevated perspective SUV buyers absolutely love. Visibility is impressive. You can see far ahead, giving you a sense of confidence behind the wheel. The seating position feels comfortable overall, but there's one drawback. The steering wheel doesn't adjust for reach. If GAC added that feature, it could take the driving position from good to great. Step into the second row and you'll notice something surprising. GAC has really prioritized space for rear passengers. Legroom and headroom are generous, easily rivaling mid-size sedans like the Camry or Accord. The rear seats themselves are fairly standard, but passengers back there would really appreciate the rear center aircon vents, keeping the cabin cool and comfortable. Behind the rear seat, the AION Y Plus offers a decently sized boot. While it only measures in at 150 liters, it feels larger than expected. That's thanks to the wide opening tailgate, making loading and unloading easy for daily errands or short trips. For everyday use, the boot is practical and accessible. And when you need more space, the rear seats fold flat to expand the storage area. However, there's no frunk in the AION Y Plus, so don't expect extra storage up front. Under the hood is powered by a single electric motor mounted at the front, making it a front-wheel drive EV. The 63.2 kWh battery provides an estimated 430 km of range, based on the WLTP standard. Let's take a closer look at the performance numbers for this powertrain. For a car of its size, the AION Y Plus delivers just enough punch from its single electric motor. Acceleration is smooth and linear. No sudden jolts and definitely no wheel spin. It gets off the line effortlessly. Keeping up with traffic, no problem. The AION Y Plus blends in seamlessly, making city and highway driving stress-free. But here's where things get interesting. Despite having just one motor, the energy consumption is surprisingly high. I averaged 19.8 kWh per 100 km, quite a bit more than you expect. After a 260 km drive, I was left with just 22% battery. That's a far cry from the claimed 430 km range. So, while the AION Y Plus is smooth and capable on the road, its real-world efficiency might leave you wanting more. Let's talk about the ride quality of the AION Y Plus. At first, it really surprises me. The suspension feels like something you'd find in a European car, smooth and composed, but only up to 110 km per hour. Under that speed, the AION Y Plus strikes a good balance. The chassis is stiff, the suspension is soft, giving it a plush but planted ride. It's comfortable without feeling disconnected. But once you go beyond 110, that softness starts to work against you. At higher speeds, the car loses a bit of that stability. It starts to feel floaty, and the body roll becomes pretty noticeable, especially in corners, where that core center of gravity and soft suspension team up against you. The steering, surprisingly well tuned. It feels sharp when you first turn in, responsive and direct, but push it further and that precision sort of fade away. Overall, it's not a car that thrills you behind the wheel, but it gets the job done, and does it well enough. Honestly, a better set of tyres will make the handling slightly better. When it comes to braking, the AION Y Plus do stand out among Chinese EVs. The stopping power is solid, and at low speeds, the brake response feels smooth and natural, just the way you want it in city driving. Now, once you push it to higher speeds, the brakes do show some signs of struggle, which, honestly, is something that I've come to expect in this segment. But given that the AION Y Plus is built for urban environments, it's not that much of a deal breaker. As for advanced safety tech, the AION Y Plus comes loaded with the latest ADAS features: lane keeping assist, forward collision warning, emergency braking, the lot. Surprisingly though, there's no blind spot monitoring. That's a bit of a letdown, especially since it's become pretty standard these days. And one little quirk, lane keeping assist activates every time you start the car. If you're not a fan, that can be a bit annoying. Here's a quick look at all the ADAS features available on the AION Y Plus. At 136,000 ringgit, the AION Y Plus is actually quite a modest electric vehicle, especially for city dwellers looking to go green without breaking the bank. If you are the kind of person who doesn't like driving what everyone else is driving, this might be right up your alley. I haven't seen too many of these on the road yet, so it still makes you feel unique. And while it's not quite an SUV, it leans more towards an MPV. So if you're all about giving your passengers space and comfort, the AION Y Plus delivers on that front. Now personally, it's not exactly my cup of tea, but hey, that's the beauty of variety. What doesn't suit me might be suitable for someone else, and I'm sure there's a driver out there who will absolutely love this car. Hope you enjoyed this review, and please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more future review videos. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. If you want to find out more about the GAC AION Y Plus, you can head on over to our website, carsick.my. Hope to see you soon. Bye!